Legends whispered in the villages along the mountain ridges spoke of a jungle where the sun never shone. No bird dared fly over it. No hunter ventured inside. They called it the Forest of Eternal Night, a place draped in shadows even at noon. One day, a wandering scholar named Arin stumbled across an old map in a crumbling library. The map bore strange symbols and a single line of faded script. Where the light dies, secrets live forever. Drawn by his thirst for discovery, Arin set out toward the forest, unaware that many before him had entered but never returned. After weeks of travel, Arin reached the border of the forest. The air grew heavy as if it carried ancient secrets. Trees twisted skyward with branches so thick they knitted together like a roof, sealing out every hint of daylight. Even the wind seemed hesitant to enter. Standing at the edge, Arin lit his lantern. The golden flame trembled. Ahead stretched a vast jungle swallowed by blackness, a world where day had no meaning. As he ventured deeper, Arin noticed strange sounds echoing around him. It was not the cry of birds or beasts, but whispers, hushed voices speaking in a language older than time. His lantern light revealed vines moving as though alive, moss that glowed faintly like stars, and trees whose bark bore markings resembling eyes. At times, he felt unseen gazes following him, like the forest itself was watching. On the third night, Arin encountered them. Out of the shadows crawled creatures with elongated limbs, skin glistening like wet stone, and eyes that reflected his lantern light like mirrors. These were not animals of flesh and blood, but guardians of shadow, beasts bound to the eternal night. Yet, instead of attacking, they circled him silently, as though testing his courage. Arin stood firm, clutching the map to his chest. Slowly, the beasts melted back into the dark, leaving him with a sense of uneasy approval. Deeper inside, Arin discovered a black river, its surface so still it resembled polished glass. When he leaned over, he did not see his reflection. Instead, he saw visions, scenes from his own past. His childhood, his mother's smile, the betrayal of a friend, moments he thought long forgotten. The river whispered, "Give us your memories and the path will open." But Arin refused, for memories were all that tied him to who he was. With trembling steps, he followed the river until it vanished into the trees, leading him forward. At last, Arin reached a clearing where the darkness was thickest. In its center stood a colossal tree, its trunk wide as a castle tower, its roots spreading like veins across the ground. The bark pulsed faintly with a dim, ghostly glow. From its hollow, a voice spoke. "Traveler, you have come where no light treads. The eternal night is not curse, but sanctuary. Here lies the world unchanging, untouched by time." Arin realized the truth. The forest was no ordinary jungle. It was a prison of eternity, where time stood still and shadows kept the world forever unspoiled. The voice offered Arin a choice. Remain in the forest, untouched by age, living in eternal knowledge, but never again seeing the sun. Or leave, carrying only fragments of what he had learned, and forget the path back. Arin's heart wrestled between the lure of immortality and the warmth of the world outside. With tears, he chose to leave. As he stepped away, the darkness closed behind him like a curtain, sealing the forest once more. When he emerged at the edge of the jungle, dawn was breaking. The first rays of sunlight struck his face, and he wept, not for what he had lost, but for what he had seen. The forest of eternal night would remain hidden, waiting for another soul daring enough to enter. As Arin left the forest, something gnawed at him. Footprints on a forest floor not his own. They were deep, fresh, and vanished abruptly, as if whoever made them had been swallowed by the earth. The realization shook him. Others had entered the forest not long ago, but where were they now? At his camp outside the jungle, Arin extinguished his lantern. Yet at night, it flared back to life by itself. The flame burned black, not gold, casting shadows that moved independently of him. When he tried to discard it, the lantern reappeared beside him at dawn. It was as though the forest had given him a piece of itself. Whether as a gift or a curse, he could not tell. Arin ventured to a nearby settlement to warn the people. But to his horror, no one remembered the forest of eternal night. Elders frowned and said, "No such place exists." Yet among the children, one little girl whispered to him, "I dreamed of your forest last night. It called your name." Arin realized the forest did not only dwell in the land, it crept into dreams. That night, a sound echoed across the hills. Drums, slow and deep, though no human hand struck them. They came from the forest, vibrating through the soil, as though the jungle had a heartbeat. The villagers covered their ears and prayed. But Arin listened, and the rhythm began to match the beating of his own heart. Compelled to return, Arin re-entered the forest. The whispers led him to a hidden ruin, a library carved into black stone, its shelves lined with scrolls that glowed faintly. Each scroll told of travelers who had entered the jungle across centuries, explorers, kings, outlaws, even priests. None had returned. Their final words were etched in the ink. "We belong to the night." As Arin read, he felt 1,000 eyes upon him. Looking up, he saw a figure standing among the branches, tall, thin silhouettes, their faces masked with bark, their limbs stretching into roots. They were once humans, bound to the forest for eternity. And now, they were watching him, waiting to see if he too would join their ranks. On the forest's darkest night, Arin reached a hidden grove where a sky should have been visible, but there was no moon, no stars, only an eternal eclipse. A black disk hovered above, its rim glowing faintly, as though the sun was forever imprisoned behind it. This was why the forest never saw light. It was sealed under its own sky. At the base of the colossal central tree, Arin encountered the keeper, a being neither man nor beast, with skin like cracked bark and eyes glowing silver. It spoke, "You carry our lantern. You are already bound. Every step you take brings you closer to us. Will you resist the forest, or accept it as your eternity?" To prove his will, the keeper led Arin into the trial of silence, a cavern where no sound existed. Not even his breath could be heard. Here, he faced visions of his deepest fears, his failures, his regrets, his longing for power. The forest tried to strip his soul bare, but Arin clutched the black lantern and whispered into the void, "I am not yours." For the first time, the forest recoiled. When Arin emerged, the forest began to shift. Trees twisted, paths vanished, and the very earth moved to seal itself. The forest was rejecting him. The keeper's voice echoed, "You defied us. The forest of eternal night will close to you forever. Count yourself blessed or cursed, for the shadows will never forget your name." With one last heartbeat of drums, Arin stumbled out into the dawn. The black lantern lay shattered in his hands, its flame gone. Behind him, the jungle was gone. Where the forest of eternal night once stood, there was only empty plain, vanished, as if it had never been.